No one is coming to save you. I mean, seriously. The earlier you accept this, the better for your life. Let me tell you the secret. Hope has been sold to you. Everyone is telling you, hey, blame the government, blame where you're born from. I mean, let me tell you one secret. You have done this, maybe it's your fault. Or let me tell you one secret. This life is this. No one is out there and coming to save you. You'd rather do it by yourself. Let's say you went to high school, you went to university, you worked as much as you had, you graduated, you came out of this hoping that and believing that you ought to get the job because that's the dream that you were sold since you were a very young person. But the fact is, where we are in this country of ours, we do not have a substantive amount of jobs where you can be able to pick, disseminate your services and get paid in return, because basically that is what's supposed to do or happen. But it is not what's happening. People are struggling out there. But now the other problem that you're doing with your life is that you're blaming everybody. You're telling or you're saying like, hey, guess what? If were it not for my parents, maybe they could have worked a little bit harder. Maybe I couldn't be where I am right now. Or you're saying, hey, were it not for this guy who is being the president of this country, perhaps if maybe you did get the other person, then I think it should be. Come on, stop all those things. Stop all those things. It's just gonna spoil your heart. You're gonna just be hyped for nothing. And at the end of the day, those are the guys who are working for their own dreams. Let me ask a very simple question. Whoever becomes the president, and by the way, this is not a politics. This is just a point to explain to you why nobody's coming to save you. Now, can you just imagine this? Those presidents, they usually have their brothers, they have their sisters, they have their mothers, they have their cousins, they have their uncles, they have their aunts, they have their neighbors, they have their pastors, they have their... Tell me, how far are you from their hearts before they actually do something to save or salvage you and do something about your life? Nobody. So what do you do? Now, I know that's why you did click to watch this video. So the point is that nobody is coming to save you. It is you by yourself, and this is what you're supposed to do. Right now, let's say you're a graduate, you got no jobs, and you're feeling like, hey, guess what? I got my certificates and I feel like I wasted time. No, don't view it that way. I was once there, and I don't want to tell you that I was close to losing hope. I have never done that, and I cannot do it. That is not an option. This is what you're supposed to understand. Yes, maybe let's say they told you you're an engineer. Maybe they say they told you like you're a doctor, or maybe whatever the thing they told you you are when you went to university and you graduated. Whatever the thing that they have written in that paper, they told you you are that thing. Okay. Now the point is, that is what they have inculcated deep inside of you. But there's a real you who is made up of different things and abilities and talents deep inside of you. And you do not have to do things that they told you can be able to do it. All right? What you're supposed to do, or here too, is that pick that what you can. And I always tell people, do not be choosy when you do not have the options. For example, let's say you are hungry. Maybe you haven't eaten like for the last 10 days. You're provided with, let's say, malenge, na viazi, or something that you don't love to eat. But you have no options. At that particular point, you're desperate for food. Whatever it is, you're going to gobble it down your throat. So, and here you are. This is the same situation that you are in. Contextualize this information and ask yourself, yes, it is tough. Yes, there are limited opportunities in terms of jobs, because the available ones have actually been given in terms of who do you know. And probably you got yourself from a family that nobody knows nobody. And then it means that it's you to carve your way up there, and at least you demarcate your point and you progress to the next level. So what do? You pick a thing that you can be able to do, or you pick a thing that is available or next to you. And I'm going to give you my simple example about my own life. When I graduated, I had no options. And by the way, I passed, by the way. And the point is, I had no places where I can go get employed, get money, do my thing. So what do? You pick that what is available. And I always tell people, pick that what you can as you wait for what you love. That's the thing. Because if you're doing that what you don't love, this is not about you loving or not loving. It's about you being able to pay for your bills. Because there is one thing you should know. Whenever you are hungry, you cannot be able to pay your bills. You can't dress yourself. You cannot be able to do all those things. You tend to be disrupted mentally. And once you're disrupted mentally, guess what happens? You cannot be able to conceptualize good ideas. You cannot be able to think out loud. You can't be able to go out there and be able to look for new opportunities. You cannot be able to connect with people. You usually have the withdrawals, and what do? On top of that, you think of taking something, substances, just to enhance yourself, make yourself happy because you're desperate. And by the time you realize you're not only desperate, you're also addicted, and you're getting yourself into a thing that requires money to sustain yourself, to feel the way you felt yesterday, but you do not have money to buy. You can just imagine the kind of a nasty thing that you're getting yourself into. So what you're supposed to do, look around. Pick those friends of yours who never even went to school, but you did, and they're doing plumbing, they're doing, whatever they think they're doing. You're next to people who are actually doing farming, do the thing. You're actually people who are being employed in hotels, even if it's not your ability, or if you go out there. If you're out there, you can just pick that thing that is available, provided it's legal. Pick it up, be able to do something. Because I do believe one thing: the moment you are able to cater for the very basic things, if you cater for the very basic things at that particular point, once you pick it up, you become a little bit stable. You stabilize your mind, and you can be able to think of a next step. And I always tell people, even if you're getting 500 shillings per day, with this amount of money, if you can eat, if you can dress, and if you can pay your rent, then it means if you cater for these three things, guess what? You have at least somewhere you can be able to rest or something of sort. At that particular point when you're resting, it's good to ask yourself, why in this 500 Kenyan shillings ain't gonna solve all my problems? Now what do I do? What skills can I be able to possess far from what I went to school to study for? Then at that particular point, you start thinking about, hey, I can be able to pick something like graphic design. I can be able to pick something like, hey, web designing. I can be able to go out there and do something like online writing. I can be a virtual assistant. I can be an autonator. I can be able to be the variety of things, especially nowadays, because guess what? I'm actually going to make that video that new land is actually online. That's where the real money is. Don't look around further, but this is the particular place where the real cash is. So what am I trying to say? What you're supposed to do is that don't blame anybody. Don't blame anybody, that's for sure. Nobody ain't gonna save you in one way or the other. So what you do, keep on pushing yourself and keep on doing that what you don't love as you wait for that what you love, and then you progress to the next level. There is one thing I will tell you, okay? Take it an example. This is like a river, all right? And whatever is flowing here, this is actually the money. And this is the point. See, this is everybody, all of us are actually stand at the banks of this river. All of us are usually stand at the banks of this river. So what happened is that the closer you are to the river, obviously the much water you're gonna get, because at this particular point, this is the situation whereby you have different ways of approaching money. You can decide to, stand by the river, stay there, and be picking as much as you can and drink so that at least you can quench your that. With our context, I mean money. And the other person may decide, hey, guess what? For me, what I'm gonna do, it's not a must I spend all the time here. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make a tributary or a channel, and then I'm gonna direct some of the water towards my end. And at this particular point, I'm going to be relaxing here, all right, on my couch. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to relax here, and the money is actually flowing in from this great river. And others say, hey, guess what? I think I don't have the capacity to go to the banks of the river. I'm going to actually rely on this guy. Whatever is actually channeled towards his place, and then I'm going to be getting from him. So the further you become or further you are from these banks of the river, the lesser money that you're going to get. And what do I mean? Tap it or view it as an opportunity. It's you to make sure that at least you use the concept that works for you. If it means you coming here, getting the water, and feed yourself, going back home, coming again, and this is where people get it wrong. See, if you decide to be coming each and every morning, work for it, get as much as you can, you quench your that, you go back home, consume the extra that you have, you go back tomorrow, you go back the other day. What if the day that you lack? Because one thing that you're supposed to understand with a human being is that this is achievement and this is time. You realize that when you are young, you're actually very energetic, but a time comes, as time goes, and then you become a little bit less productive. Then it means you won't have the energy and the ability to actually going back to the river, getting the water, coming back, going back. So what do you do as a wise person? You actually, by the time you have the energies, think of how you can be able to make a tributary of how you can be able to channel some of the water towards your end. And this does not mean you must have a crazy amount of money. No, you are out there, say like you just doing university, you're 22, you're 23, you're even 30, it's not even late. You're even 40, it's not even late. For example, by the time, let's say by 60, that's the time people tend to say like, hey, you're not becoming a little bit tired and something of sorts. If you are 40 years, for God's sake, And let's say maybe at 60, that's the time you'll say like you don't have the required energy. You have 20 years time. So can you just imagine if you were just to make a single step each and every day in a period of 20 years, by the time you're clocking your 60, you already have a tributary that you're channeling money towards your place. And let me give you a very simple analogy here. What happens is that whenever you actually manage to make a tributary towards your end, you become attractive. How? You've invested in real estate, you invested in different areas, you have businesses, so you've employed people. And these people whom you have employed, you simply employ them to take care of your tributary. You know, there is nothing like collapsing or caving in of the walls and something, making sure that they actually drain all the liters, making sure that they're, you know, all those kind of things, just to maintain your tributary. And the money is actually flowing to your place. And just to excite them so that at least they can make sure that your tributaries are clean as possible, then what do? You actually give them a little bit of water, they take back home, they take back, if they are not financially literate, then they become old, you employ the new ones and all those kind of things because you're actually wise. And that's why even the Bible says that a wise man is the one who leaves the inheritance to the children's children. That's a fact. This is the simple analogy that explains how money works. It's as simple as that. Guess what? By the way, I'm going to make a whole video explaining this concept on how you can be able to go ahead and make some money out of that. So the point is this. Nobody's coming to save you. Do something as early as you can. Everybody, we are all aligning at the banks of this river. Nobody's caring about the other. What we are doing is that we are trying as much as we can, trying to grab as much water as we can, so that at least by the time now we go back home, we've already made ourselves a good tributary, we've channeled some money, we have channeled some water that is actually coming to our home each and every time, and we can actually get it at the comfort of our couches. And what happens to the society? We tend to curse these guys. We tend to say, hey, they're the one who are making us not to get enough money or enough whatever and all those kind of things. But this water is actually approachable. This river, which is very big, is actually approachable by anybody. So it's your choice on what you do. But if you keep on blaming anybody, hey, I cannot be able to see, oh, I don't know you. If you keep on blaming anybody, and let me tell you one secret. The biggest characteristics of failures in life are the people who usually complain as much as they can. What you're supposed to understand is this. Learn to take responsibilities. Be accountable to yourself. Whenever I ask you, you got paid like 5 days ago. I ask you, where is your money? You tell me, I got no money. I ask you, say, hey, I think I get paid less. I don't think that should be the case. The case should be, I think I can do something with the little I'm being paid. That even if it means me shedding some of the things that I do in terms of my lifestyle so that I can accommodate as much as I can in my life, so be it. That is exactly, you reach to a particular point when you say, it is my life, I have to do something about it so that I progress to the next level. So let's all raise our hands and agree on this video. Let us not wait anybody, because no one, literally no one, is coming to save us. It is tough out there. You're supposed to become tougher. My name is Joseph. Talk about money, investments, and anything related to that. If you love those kind of videos, then consider this place a home. By doing what? By liking this video. Just liking. By the way, I just made all that information for free. I didn't charge you to watch it. All what I'm asking you is to kindly hit that like button, turn that notification bell, and by the way, subscribe. It is free as well. And comment down below, tell me what you think. And at the end of the day, make sure that you can pick my number from the description of this specific video. Let's talk business, let's talk investment, and we progress to the next level. All right, for now, it's a goodbye, and see you in the next one.